Today I'm going to talk to you about something amazing that happened in 1609. Involved famous astronomer Galileo, we've talked about a lot. And it has something to do with this thing that's behind me. What is it? Well, I'm here at the Landolt Observatory on top of Nicholson Hall at LSU. And this is our refractor here in the observatory. But what happened back in 1609 is that Galileo heard about something. He heard about a guy in Holland who had invented something. And this guy was marketing it as a big piece of military hardware because it could make things seem a lot closer than they were. And what he invented? He invented something like this. It's the telescope. And in fact, Galileo gave it the name. Galileo had never seen a telescope. He just heard about it. Holland was a long way away back in the 17th century. But Galileo heard about the telescope, and so he sat down and he reinvented it himself. And so he built his own telescope, and it was about this big. It involved two lenses, one here in the front, which is this one, it's about an inch in diameter, and another lens, the eyepiece at the other end. And this is a telescope, and this completely revolutionized astronomy. Before 1609, all astronomy was done with the naked eye, only what you could see going out at night and looking through your eyes. And so as soon as Galileo invented this and started improving it over the years, he made amazing discoveries. He discovered that the moon had craters, that the sun had spots on it. He discovered the moons of Jupiter. He discovered the phases of Venus. This is a revolution, and obviously all astronomers since that time have used the telescope. There's two different kinds of telescopes. This telescope that Galileo discovered is a refracting telescope or a refractor, and so is this one right here that you can see. You can almost see up to the top of it. As you can see, this is a lot bigger. The big lens in the top of this telescope is 11.5 inches in diameter. Remember from the pizza problem that size really matters as far as telescopes go. If you take this lens and you make it twice as big, then you get 4 times as much light. If you make it 4 times as big, you get 16 times as much light. If you make it 10 times as big, you get 100 times as much light. And so this guy up here is getting more than 100 times the light that this little telescope is getting. And so you can see things that are 100 times fainter with this. Now this is the kind of telescope that astronomers used mainly until the early 20th century. But then they started switching to the other kind of telescope, which is the reflecting telescope. And I'm just going to show you an example of it right here. So this is a reflector. It doesn't look like much. It's got a tube, just like the refracting telescope. But if we look down inside it, we can see that rather than having a lens at the front, it has a mirror, and you can just see the reflection of the mirror there at the back. Right here at the back is the mirror. And so the light comes in, rather than going through a lens and another lens, it comes in through the front, reflects off the mirror at the back, comes up and hits another little mirror that's right here, a secondary mirror, and in this case, it sends the light out the side, and in fact, this is what's called a Newtonian reflector. It was invented by Isaac Newton. He seemed to do everything. And so, but the same idea goes here with the reflector, that the size is the size of the mirror at the back. And so this guy, which might be about a 10-inch telescope, it's the diameter of the mirror, or with the refractor, the diameter of the lens, which is the size of the telescope. So there's two kinds of telescopes, refractors and reflectors. All the big telescopes today, the ones that we see up on Mauna Kea, are all reflecting telescopes, and they're much, much bigger. The biggest telescopes in the world, the Keck telescopes up on Mauna Kea, are 10 meters in diameter. That's about 30 feet in diameter. So think of that compared to this, which is less than 1 foot in diameter. So 30 times bigger, that's 30 squared, 900 times the amount of light that you can get. And so these telescopes see very, very faint objects. And there are plans in place right now to build 30-meter telescopes, 50-meter telescopes. So it'll be 3 to 5 times bigger than the Keck's, and they'll be getting 10 times, 25 times as much light. And you can see the faintest things in the universe. So that's telescopes, and that's it for today. Goodbye.